Hello, this is My Sweet Mess, and welcome to my kitchen, where every week I make a mess trying new recipes in the pursuit of something sweet. This week I am excited to try a new to me recipe for Berry Cobbler with a sugar cookie topping from Rebecca at Of Batter and Dough, and I'll leave the original recipe link in the show notes below. I am so excited to try this recipe because it comes together in about 10 minutes. You can use frozen fruit, which I am very excited to try. And I know that cobbler is typically a summer dish, but I love a warm and cozy dessert on a cold winter day, and I think this berry cobbler is going to be just the thing. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's jump right into this surprisingly easy recipe. To begin, we will start with our mise en place. Mise en place is a French term for putting in place or everything in its place. It's the process of preparing your tools and ingredients before you get started cooking. For this recipe, you'll just need a few things, and you probably have these on hand. For this recipe, we actually have two elements, a berry filling and a cobbler topping. For the berry filling, you will need 1.5 pounds, 680 grams, or about 5 1/4 cup of berries. Any combination of berries you want will work, and you can use fresh or frozen. I'm using frozen berries. There are blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries in this mix. You also need 1.5 tablespoons or 23 grams of lemon juice. I had a lemon on hand, so I went ahead and just used fresh lemon juice and got 26 grams of juice from that lemon, and I'm going to use all of it. Additionally, you need 2 tablespoons or 15 grams of cornstarch, as well as 2 tablespoons or 24 grams of granulated sugar. For the cobbler topping, you need 1/2 cup or 113 grams of softened butter, 3/4 cup or 150 grams of granulated sugar, 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of vanilla extract, 1 cup or 120 grams of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon or 4 grams of baking powder, and finally 1/2 teaspoon or 3 grams of kosher salt. I ended up using about 5 grams of kosher salt because I like a little bit more of a salty contrast in my topping. And that's it. That's all you need for your ingredients. So I'm just going to set these aside for later as we prep our equipment. To start, we need a 9-inch square pan. As you can see, I don't have a 9-inch square pan, so I'm just going to use this. I think it's an 8 or an 8.5-inch round pan, and I'm sure it'll be just fine. You'll also need a bowl and a spoon or a fork to make the topping, and that's it. Oh wait, we also need to preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's it, really this time. Now that all of the ingredients are measured and the equipment is prepped, watch how quickly this dish comes together. To get us started, we're going to make the berry filling. So we'll get that baking dish and all of the berry ingredients, and we're just going to dump it right into the dish. So into our round or square dish goes the 680 grams of fruit, 15 grams of cornstarch, 24 grams of sugar, and finally 26-ish grams of lemon juice. And we're just going to give that all a really good mix. And we're just going to set this aside for later as we make the cobbler topping. In a bowl, we will add the 150 grams of sugar, 120 grams of all-purpose flour, 4 grams of baking powder, and 3 to 5 grams of salt, and give that a preliminary mix just to make sure all of the dry ingredients are well combined. Then we will add in the 113 grams of softened butter and 10 grams of vanilla. Now with this step, you can use either a fork or your impeccably clean hands to stir everything together until all of the dry ingredients are moistened and you don't have any large clumps of butter remaining. I'm just using a fork and sort of mashing the butter into the flour. Once your topping looks well combined, we'll get the dish of the berry filling and start putting that cobbler topping on top of the berries. As I'm putting the topping onto the berries, I'm giving that topping a little bit of a squeeze with my hand, which should create some delicious sugar cookie clumps on top of those berries. Once all of the topping is on top of our berries and it looks delicious, we will pop this into the 350-degree Fahrenheit oven for 55 to 70 minutes. How long the cobbler needs to bake depends on if you're using fresh or frozen berries. If you're using fresh berries, it probably needs closer to 55 minutes to cook. If you're using frozen berries like me, I know it's probably going to need closer to 70 minutes to cook. So when I pop this in the oven, I'm going to set my timer for 60 minutes and then check on it at that point. Whether you're using fresh or frozen berries, what you're looking for is a filling that is bubbling all around the edge of the pan. That's how you'll know it's done. So I'm going to pop this into the oven and I'll be back in about an hour. And I'm back! And wowie wow, look at that! It's been a little over an hour and I know the cobbler is done because it is bubbling all around the edge of the pan. I mean, look at that bubbly goodness. Now, I'm gonna let this guy hang out in the pan for about 10 to 15 minutes and then serve it up with a scoop of French vanilla ice cream. So I'll be back in about 15 minutes. And I'm back. And look at that. Wow, does it look delicious? And it smells incredible. I am so excited about this sugar cookie topping. When I was scooping out the cobbler, I could hear the crunch of the topping. All right, enough chit chat. Let's give it a taste. And wow, as easy as this cobbler was to put together, it truly has no business being this good. I am so happy with how it turned out. I love the mixed berries. And when I make this again, I will definitely use blackberries and raspberries. I think they add a nice sharpness to the dish, which contrasts nicely with that sugar cookie topping, which is so sweet. Speaking of which, I am not typically one who cares about cobbler topping. I am here for the berries and ice cream, but this topping really adds something to the dish. It is crunchy and sweet and buttery and really helps add flavor and texture contrast to the dish. I cannot believe how easy this came together, and it uses ingredients that I have on hand pretty much all the time. Going forward, I will definitely be keeping frozen berries on hand so I can make this cobbler at a moment's notice. All right. I am off to grab a cup of coffee and another piece of cobbler. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any future bakes. Thank you so much for being with me here today. And remember, trying new things is messy, but the end result is pretty sweet. Have a great rest of your day. Bye now.